In this video, I'm going to talk to you about apostrophes and the rules about how and where to use them. So we say that apostrophes show possession, but when we say possession, we don't mean that you necessarily have receipts or that you own something in a strict sense. We mean it in a more general way. So let me show you some examples. The boy's bunny eats a carrot. So in other words, the bunny belongs to the boy. Yeah, the boy might have a receipt. I'm not sure. But that's what I mean by possession. The bunny belongs to the boy in some way. I could say the bunny's carrot is delicious. The bunny didn't buy the carrot, but the carrot belongs to the bunny, and that's what the apostrophe S shows. The bunny's carrot is delicious. And in this case, I'm saying the bunny belongs to the boy, and the carrot belongs to the bunny. I would probably ask you to rewrite this sentence because it's pretty hard to understand, but technically you can see that the apostrophes still work in that the bunny belongs to the boy and the carrot belongs to the bunny. So if this is hard for you, or if you're in doubt about when to apply an apostrophe, I've developed a technique that I call the of technique. And if of doesn't work for you, you could substitute that or who belongs to instead of. So let me show you some examples. The boy's bunny eats a carrot. That's the sentence we just read. If I wasn't sure if an apostrophe belonged there, I would rewrite the sentence, the bunny of the boy eats a carrot. And even if it doesn't make perfect grammatical sense, I do understand that the bunny is of the boy. And so that would be an apostrophe situation. And if that's not helpful, I would suggest using the who or that belongs to technique instead. Instead of putting in of, I could say, the bunny who belongs to the boy eats a carrot. And hopefully you can hear that that makes sense. Here's the next one. The bunny's carrot is delicious. So using the of technique, I could say, the carrot of the bunny is delicious. And to me that makes sense because the carrot is of the bunny. The bunny is eating the carrot and has the carrot. Or the carrot that belongs to the bunny is delicious. You can even use this technique on that last ugly sentence that I gave you. The bunny's carrot is delicious. I could say, the carrot of the bunny of the boy is delicious. Or, if you want to use the that who belongs to method, the carrot that belongs to the bunny, okay, makes sense, who belongs to the boy, makes sense, is delicious. So, hopefully that makes sense to you because now I'm going to talk to you about some of the many rules that apply to when and how to use an apostrophe. The first rule is probably the one that you already know. You add an apostrophe after a singular noun to show possession. So a teacher is a singular noun. In other words, there's only one teacher. A teacher, apostrophe S, pen, often runs out of ink before she runs out of ideas. Or Alexine, only one, I'm the noun. Alexine's class is full of delightful students. I haven't even met you, and I know that that's true. How do I know it's true? Because all my students have always been delightful. I'm just a very lucky teacher that way. So here's the next rule. When you have a noun that is made plural by adding an S, and that's the case for most nouns in English, you just add the apostrophe. In other words, you don't take a noun that ends with an S and add an apostrophe S to it. So if I say girls, as in two or more girls, the girl's cat is fluffy, I would just put an apostrophe after that S. I do not need another S. Or I could say the cats, plural cats, two or more cats, the cat's colors go well together. And again, just an apostrophe, no apostrophe S. So that's for a noun that's made plural by adding an S. There are a few nouns in English that are not made plural by adding an S. Those are irregular nouns. For example, the singular one woman, W-O-M-A-N, if you want to make it plural, you change the A to an E. You don't add an N and an S, right? So in that case, I can just go back to my regular rule of adding an apostrophe S. The women's organization runs efficiently. People is the plural of person. So again, I don't have to add an S, and therefore I can go back to just adding my apostrophe S to show possession. The people's choice is clear. Sometimes we have a proper noun that ends in an S. So a proper noun is different from the nouns I've been talking about so far, mostly. Because a proper noun is when we have a name for a noun. So my name, Alexine, in the first example, is a proper noun, okay? So Charles is a proper noun, Kansas is a proper noun, Monday is a proper noun, Community College of Philadelphia is a proper noun. These are the nouns that have a capital letter at the beginning, and that's because it's a name. So if you have a proper noun that ends in an S, capital letter at the beginning is the name, ends in S, like Charles or Kansas, then you add, oopsie, sorry about that, then you add an apostrophe S. So usually you'll remember that if a noun ends in an S, you just add an apostrophe. This is the exception to the rule. If a noun is a proper noun and it ends in S, it does take an apostrophe. I'm sorry, this is really confusing, but just try to stick with me. Rule number 5, if you pluralize a proper noun, so in other words, if we were to say the Alexines, because there are 2 of them, right? Or the Charlies, because there are 2 of them, you don't need to add another S after the apostrophe. So if I say the Smith's vacation house is overgrown with flowers, the family's name is Smith, and there's more than one, so there are a whole bunch of Smiths, like the mom, the other mom, the baby, right? If the vacation house belongs to them, you just do an apostrophe, not an apostrophe S. Oreos. You could have 1 Oreo, you could have 1,000 Oreos, but if you want to use an apostrophe to show possession, in this case the fillings belong to the Oreos, you would just do the apostrophe after the S. The Oreos fillings were all scraped off with what looks suspiciously like teeth. So remember, this only applies to a proper noun, which is the name of someone or something. This is the last rule. And this one, I think, is kind of the hardest to wrap your head around, so I hope you're not too tired. Compound nouns, which are nouns of 2 or more people, take an apostrophe after the last noun if you are thinking of the 2 people as a unit. So for example, Ben and Jerry's, they're 2 people, right? But their ice cream company is called Ben and Jerry's. So the ice cream, the apostrophe S applies to Ben and Jerry. So you don't say Ben's and Jerry's ice cream. One more example, Tom, Dick, and Harry's parents were very unoriginal with their name choices. All 3 of these guys have the same parent, so we're thinking of them as a unit, and therefore you only need the apostrophe S after the last name. I hope your head is not exploded. Please bring any questions you have to class.